Kyiv has experienced one of the heaviest bombardments by Russia since the war in Ukraine began. At least 4 people were killed, while around 70 others were injured in the attack. As tensions rise in the region, there's a heightened focus on air defence systems in Ukraine's neighbouring countries.
Another massive drone onslaught across Ukraine and far from the front lines. Russia says it is targeting military installations. But what Russia says and what Russia does are 2 different things. Because these are residential areas, and it is civilians caught up in these strikes. An old lady hauled from her smoke-filled apartment. A little girl whose home was just bombed by Russia. 595 drones and 48 missiles attacking targets across the country, but concentrated on Kyiv. And though air defence shoots down most, some still get through.
Our building is hidden from the road. It's in a quiet residential area and it's 3rd floor. Usually drones fly over higher floors. It's shocking. We can't come to our senses yet.
The enemy conducted a massive missile strike on Kyiv. Unfortunately, there are many strikes on the Solomyansky district. Residential buildings and medical facilities were damaged. Unfortunately, there are people injured and killed.
4 killed, including a 12-year-old girl. President Zelensky on X calling on the international community to exert maximum pressure on Russia. This vile attack came virtually at the close of UN General Assembly Week, he wrote, and this is exactly how Russia declares its true position. Moscow wants to keep fighting and killing, and it deserves the toughest pressure from the world. The time for decisive action is long overdue, and we count on a strong response from the United States, Europe, the G7 and the G20. Russia is testing Europe too, with drone incursions in Poland, MiG fighter jets escorted out of Estonian airspace, Denmark reporting a host of unidentified drone incursions, with more overnight.
Drone movements into Poland in particular are a reminder that says that, look, Western air defences are optimised towards a handful of high-tech, powerful, cruise missiles or similar, not a flock of 30,000-pound attack drones and the like. So it's all a way of saying, do you really want to escalate? Do you really want to have more skin in the game? Because if so, just think of the threats.
Ukraine is set to begin exporting its own hard-won drone expertise. But it needs more and better air defence in return, with weaponry under NATO's so-called Pearl programme beginning to trickle in, produced by the US, paid for by European partners. Because Russia shows no sign of letting up. Diana Magnay, Sky News.
Now, President Trump and President Zelensky met on Tuesday, and afterwards, Trump said that he thinks Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. Now, this was a pretty remarkable backflip, seeing as Trump was recently insisting that both sides would need to make territory concessions and that Ukraine would need to give up some land to Russia in negotiations. Well, joining me now is Ukraine's ambassador to Australia, Vasyl Maryshenko. Vasyl, so wonderful to see you again. Now, this is a very big change in Trump's position. What do you think triggered it?
We welcome President Trump's confidence in Ukraine's defense of its sovereignty, as well as his recognition of Ukraine's morale and the faith in a just cause, which translates into a battlefield. But we cannot win this war without the support, security support of our allies and partners in the form of ammunition, of weapons, and direct funding, as well as new capabilities. And definitely, we will work together with the US and the European Union and European partners in making sure that we can force Russia into peace.
Now, Trump also said in his address at the UN that he had recently, just last week, I think he said, discovered that some NATO countries are still buying Russian oil. And he said they were, in effect, funding the war they claim to be trying to end. Can you give us more information about this? Which countries are doing this?
Well, apparently Russia's major revenue comes from the sale of oil and gas, over 40% of that. And many countries are buying it. And of course, in terms of the European countries, most likely here referred to Slovakia and Hungary. But I think there are some other EU countries which also continue buying Russian oil. And EU has made it clear they want to actually get rid of it. It takes some time, but we hope that they will phase out Russian oil and gas entirely, and they can find alternative sources of energy, not to fund Russia's war in Ukraine.
I mean, it's just such a big shift when you think about that aggressive meeting with Trump and JD Vance and Zelensky at the Oval Office earlier this year. You know, now Trump and Zelensky seem to be on the same page, putting pressure on Putin. What do you think the next steps will be?
We have to be cautiously optimistic. Certainly, we welcome such confidence and such great meetings that President Zelensky had with President Trump. Certainly, what needs to happen, it all translates into material support for Ukraine, because we do need long-range weapons, we need air defense capabilities, and we need material support to keep on going, and as well as direct funding. And the way this war is going to end is going to define and shape the future of the world, and most importantly of the Asia-Pacific. And this is where Australian stakes are very high, because if Russia can get away with what they've done without being punished, without being held accountable for their act of aggression, it will encourage and will inspire a lot of authoritarian leaders here in the region. So we look forward to working with Australia together on making sure that it doesn't happen. And certainly now there is a lot that we can benefit from each other. While we still need your support in the form of military assistance, there is now a lot that Australia can learn from Ukraine, both from the battlefield, from the way the war has changed on a tactical and operational level, but also we can help Australia build its own sovereign defense capabilities in uncrewed systems, in maritime drones, in aerial drones, and robotic systems. And innovation has been staggering the past 2-3 years. And I think that technologies that we currently have would be of great benefit to Australia.
Vasyl, thank you so much for your time. And it would be remarkable if, as Trump has now put forward, that Ukraine could win some of the land back that has been lost to Russia. It might be seemingly impossible task, but he's put it out there, so you never know. Vasyl, really appreciate your time. Thank you.